My mother-in-law cut us off so she doesn't know we're having a kid. My horrid mother-in-law tends to get a bit nosy whenever we chat or see her. She loves to give terrible advice that we didn't ask for, enjoys causing drama between people, and gets oddly possessive about silly things. It's like a bunch of little annoying things that add up over time. My husband and I always talk things through. We could tell my mother-in-law was up to something, but we didn't make a big deal about it. We didn't see her often, maybe 5 times a year, so it didn't seem worth it to argue over something small. Plus, my husband never actually followed her advice or did what she wanted, so we just let it slide. About a year ago, my mother-in-law asked when we were moving closer to her. At the time, we lived about 5 hours away from her. I told her we weren't planning on moving, but then she turns to my husband and asks him the same thing. He tells her the same thing, and we thought that was the end of it. But surprise, surprise, it wasn't the end. Every time my mother-in-law talked to my husband, she'd bring up moving again. She even sent him links to houses for sale in her area and offered to pay for our move. He kept telling her we weren't interested and eventually started marking her emails as spam. A few months ago, my husband got an awesome promotion that required us to move 13 hours away. The virus made us a bit worried about moving, but this was my husband's dream job, so we decided to go for it. We kept the move a secret from everyone until we were settled because we didn't want people meddling or trying to help. After we moved and let our family know, most people were happy for us, except my mother-in-law. She reacted really badly, like she was super upset about it. She even ignored my husband for 2 months as if she was giving him a timeout. It was actually kind of funny and a weirdly great gift. She posted some vague stuff on social media, but we just laughed it off and ignored it. At some point, she blocked me on social media. It's too bad, really. I just shared that we're going to have a baby on social media, and she'll be the last to find out. You know what they say, if you play games, you win game-like prizes. My mother-in-law cut us off so she doesn't know we're having a kid. I just wanted to express my gratitude to all of you who sent kind wishes to my husband for his new job, our new home, and the pregnancy news. I promise to keep you updated on how my mother-in-law found out about the pregnancy. Last night, my mother-in-law gave my husband a call. It had been 4 days since we shared the announcement on social media, and she had just found out a little while before she rang him up. A family member had given her a call to ask about it, and she was totally in the dark. The family member mentioned the social media post, and that's when my mother-in-law decided to call my husband. She asked my husband if I was pregnant, and he confirmed that we were expecting. My mother-in-law wondered why my husband hadn't told her earlier, and he reminded her that we had actually announced it last Friday. My mother-in-law mentioned that he should have told the family before anyone else, especially the grandparents, who are supposed to get a special heads up. My husband and I had intentionally avoided telling our families first because both sides have a hard time keeping things under wraps. If we had spilled the beans and asked for discretion, it would have spread like wildfire within hours. Even way before we thought about starting a family, we had decided to hold off on sharing the news until we were ready to let everyone know at once. My husband told her that we went with the announcement approach we preferred. My mother-in-law got all quiet and muttered something. Then she inquired about how far along I was, and my husband told her I was 5 months along. My mother-in-law wasn't happy that she was just finding out, saying this wasn't how things were supposed to go. My husband repeated that we announced things our own way. Curious about the gender, she asked if we were having a boy or a girl. My husband informed her that we were still mulling over whether to find out or wait until the baby arrives. My mother-in-law suggested my husband should find out so that the doctor doesn't know before we do. I didn't quite follow that logic, but okay, mother-in-law. My husband emphasized that we'd only find out if and when we wanted to. My mother-in-law proposed that he find out, tell her, but not let me know. That didn't sit well with my husband. He told her he would never do that. My mother-in-law started tearing up, saying she wanted to be part of the baby's life, but felt left out. My husband was like, hold on, the baby isn't even here yet. My husband had pretty much had enough of her behavior at this point. He doesn't have a lot of patience for her when she's like this. He was about to tell her he had to go, but then my mother-in-law asked to speak to me. I don't think she realized she was on speaker, and I was there with him. My husband handed me the phone, and my mother-in-law told me that if anyone asked, I should just say I'm a bit chubby. My husband took the phone back, corrected her, and said, she's not chubby, she's pregnant, before ending the call. Shortly after, my mother-in-law texted my husband and said she didn't finish her sentence. She was trying to say that if her friends or coworkers asked, I shouldn't spill the pregnancy announcement since she wants to keep things private. But hey, our pregnancy isn't really her business. Plus, we live 13 hours away from her. We're not in touch with her friends or colleagues, so what's the fuss about? I know she was trying to twist things, but she didn't do a great job. My husband isn't responding to her texts and said he needs a break from her. My mother-in-law cut us off so she doesn't know we're having a kid. Since my previous update, I've taken everyone's advice to heart. All of my info is now locked with a password. She doesn't know who my doctor is or where I'll be having the baby. She's also in the dark about the exact due date. We're keeping everything private. My mother-in-law has been on a timeout. My husband hasn't been responding to her texts and calls, and he's also been ignoring his dad and brother's attempts to talk to him about it. After a while, she must have understood and stopped trying to contact him. About 2 weeks ago, my husband decided to talk to her again. He gave her a friendly call and talked about the boundaries we want to set. He reminded her that, even if she doesn't agree with them, she should still respect them. Honestly, my husband and I don't have a lot of rules. It's basically just don't be mean. It's not that hard, even though my mother-in-law seems to think so. When my mother-in-law talked to her, she started crying and said she feels left out. She's just really excited and wants to be a part of things. My husband's response was, "How can you be involved when she is still pregnant?" My mother-in-law changed the topic and asked about the baby's gender. My husband said we still don't know. My mother-in-law claimed she knew we were having a boy because all the boys run in their family. My husband explained that's not how it works, but he didn't want to argue. Then she asked about her baby shower invitation. My husband said, "We're not having a shower." She wanted to know why, and my husband told her we were being cautious due to the pandemic. She also asked if she could visit the baby when he arrives. My husband told her that nobody is visiting for a while. She got really mad, saying it wasn't fair, she's the grandma, and that we're doing this just to annoy her. He then ended the call. Last Saturday, my husband got a text. It was a picture from his mother. She was posing with her friends, wearing a sash that said, "Grandma-to-be," and there were gifts and a banner saying "Grandma shower" in the background. My husband and I were at the store when he got the text. We were both surprised and didn't know what to think, so we decided to ignore it. Then, my husband gets another picture. This time his mother is opening presents. There's a car seat, a bassinet, and some baby clothes. We decided to ignore that one too. On our way home, my husband gets 2 more texts. One has a photo of a cake saying "Welcome baby boy." The next text says, "Today was amazing. Can't wait to see baby boy and show him his new things." My husband blocked her, and he's even thinking about not talking to her anymore. By Tuesday, my brother-in-law, probably on behalf of mother-in-law, said, "Life was better before you married your wife." Yeah, right. Anyhow, today we had a special ultrasound appointment. We've been debating whether to find out the gender for a while, and we finally decided to know. But because of all the mother-in-law drama, we're keeping it a secret until the baby arrives. But, I'll let you all know. It's a girl.